Minor Femininity podcast, and I'm Leanne, and I'm here today with two of my children. This is Angelo, he's 14.
Howdy.
And then this is Gemma, and she's almost 16.
Hi.
So today we'd like to talk to you a little bit about journaling, about a rule of life, good habits. And so I'd like to introduce to you my journals. We have the Catholic Boys Journal, 30-day journal, and then the Catholic Girls 30-day journal. And we thought we'd go through it and show you a little bit about it. I have both of the kids are doing the journals right now, so they have their little bit of input. And so I'd like to kind of go through a couple of the days and just let you know what's in the journal and how it might be helpful. We are going into the new year, and it's a good time to make resolutions. It's a good time to form new habits, especially for our kids. So it might be something that you parents may want to get for your children. You can get them off Amazon or my Meadows of Grace shop. But it will get them used to having good habits, putting things down in a list book, and making them their days more intentional. So every day has a thought for the day. And it's by either myself, Father Lassance, Father Lavasic, Maria Von Trapp, Mary Reed Newland, all those good authors that have great sentiments that we can follow, inspirational quotes. And then it has, I will offer my prayers, works, joys, and sufferings today for, and then it has a blank.
I try to put a person down that isn't in the church or is going through a hard time or anything like that. Just someone that I think needs the prayers.
Right, because through our day we'll hear about somebody that needs prayers, or please pray for so-and-so, and so it's a chance for you to focus on that person, or at least in the morning put it down, okay, the rest of my day mostly for this person, or at least, partly for this person. Okay, and then it has like a spiritual checklist, which is prayers from the heart, it says, and it has the important ones: morning prayers, spiritual reading, rosary and night prayers that should all be checked off each day, and then it has a space for 2 more. Any thoughts about that, Gemma?
Yeah, so the spiritual checklist is obviously very important, and it's great because a lot of the prayers are routine, like morning prayers, night prayers, rosary, mercy chaplet, that, we check off every day. And then the other ones, like the spiritual reading, I have a hard time with, and so it's good. It keeps me on top of it. Like, I read that, it's like, oh, I got to do my spiritual reading. And then, like, through Advent, I had down most every day the St. Andrew Novena, so I could check that off every day during Advent. And then I also sometimes write down, because we try to go to daily mass, so then I can check that off. And it's really satisfying to be able to check those spiritual things off, along with ones you always do, but extra ones too you want to write down yourself.
And any special novena that you're doing, you can put that in. That's why there's the space for a couple of extra spaces, and even you could put more underneath if you wanted to. Any thoughts on that, Ange?
Like Gemma said, most of the stuff we just do already. Morning, night prayers, rosary. I do spiritual reading every day. But I know that sometimes I like to make it a little bit challenging. So sometimes I do like spiritual reading. I set a time that I have to do it with. So sometimes I do like 35 minutes or more or something like that. And
Wow.
It's kind of just fun to make things more challenging.
Okay.
That's challenging.
Well, and remember, and I think it's important to teach your children that, I think it was St. Teresa of Avila said, unless you're reading 10 minutes a day, spiritual reading, it's very hard to enter the kingdom of heaven, because we lose our taste for the spiritual things if we're not reading. So that is very important, and very important to teach your kids. Now, for me, I have a blank journal, and I always have my spiritual checklist at the top, because for me, if I can get that accomplished, then I get the graces to do the rest of my checklist. Maybe not all of it, but that's where the graces flow. And I find if I'm getting that spiritual checklist done, then my day is much more productive. Okay, so then it says, I will offer my prayers. Oh, no, we did that one. So then here it is. Check the heart if you did a spiritual corporal work of mercy today, like visited the sick, did a spiritual bouquet, shared your faith, went out of your way to help someone, etc. Any thoughts on that, Angelo?
Yeah, I think it's actually a little bit easier for our family because we have our grandma lives right behind our house, so we can go up there anytime and sweep her floor or do something for her. And so, yeah, it's a little bit easier to do that one for us. And then sometimes I talk to my nephews about stories that I read about saints and stuff, and that is a corporal work of mercy. So that one's pretty awesome. I like doing that one. It's fun.
Good. How about you, Gemma?
Yeah, like Angelo said, we have our grandma right in an apartment behind us. So that's really is for us, it's a great opportunity to be able to go up and, visit with her or, help her clean her house or whatever. But then there are different opportunities that come up. I know for me, I pen pal a few elderly people, just keep in touch, keep send thoughts of happiness, of what we do as a family, and I tell them about the faith, etc. And and that's touching their lives in some way. And then another thing is a lot of times when we go into Topeka to shop, there's beggars, and so we try to give them some money, and that's a corporal work of mercy. But it's not just different things come up to where there's different opportunities always to do either a spiritual or a corporal work of mercy.
Well, we just had an old friend, and he was from way back, and we kind of lost touch except for Gemma. Gemma kept writing him, and just within this past month we had sent him a Christmas card, and we got a letter back saying that he had passed away. And I reminded Gemma how very special it is that she does those things, that she keeps in contact with these elderly people who appreciate any little message that she has to give them through the mail. So that's a great spiritual work of mercy. Okay, and then it has an everyday checklist. So we had the spiritual checklist. Now this is the everyday checklist, and on there is one kind deed for a family member. There's chores, your homework / school / practice instrument, and then smiled more. And then it has a place too where you can put your own to-do list. It has 3, like if you're supposed to take out the garbage that day or whatever it is, that has 3 spaces that you can put your own things in. Angelo, any thoughts on that?
One kind deed for a family member I really like. Sometimes I go up and make the girls' beds and do stuff like that. I really like that one. And then smile more. It's sometimes hard to remember, so what I do sometimes I write it on my hand, smile, and every time I get a glimpse of that, I remember and I
flash it.
Yeah.
A grin. Huh?
Yeah.
A smile. That's great. How about you, Gemma?
Yeah. So the everyday checklist really keeps me on track, because sometimes it's hard to remember what you're supposed to do, during the day, as in chores, and it's good to be able to write down things. It really helps me because things are always coming up that I need to do, especially I really need to clean my room or something, that's I have to do it. So I put it on there, things that are really needed for that day, and it's very satisfying to be able to check it off. Another thing on here, it has the homework / school / practice instrument. And I do piano and violin. Now, piano, I've been doing it for a long time, so it's habit. I can do it, but violin is a lot harder for me to practice. So with that, it keeps me in constant reminder, do your violin. So it's a good keep on track with that. So.
Right, so it brings your focus back. When you start to flounder through the day, you can look at your journal and say, oh yeah, I have to do this. Then at the end, there's the very important part about I am thankful for, and it's got a space for 3 things that you're thankful for. How important it is to teach our children to be grateful. We have so much that we can be thankful for, and this will help them to focus on 3 things. that day. Any thoughts, Ange?
Yeah, I really like this one. Just last night I was thinking how awesome it is because it brings you back and thinking of everything that our Lord has given you. There is so much to be thankful for. I wish there was more lines and stuff so you could just write everything.
So, and you can make that general, or you can make it more specific to the day. Any thoughts, Gemma?
Yeah, like you said, you can make it more general because, you know, every day I'm super happy and super thankful for my family, my faith, my parish, our priests, you know, but then you can put more specific things that day that, you know, that really touched you that day, like, wow, I'm so thankful to have this in particular, this in particular.
Right.
I know when we set up our stable, you know, big, beautiful, I was so thankful for it, you know, it was like, wow, I'm so thankful that we were able to do this, that we have it, that it's there, you know, so, it's really good, and it's really good to bring grateful thoughts into mind rather than negative thoughts.
Very good. Very good. And then, so that's on one of the days, all those things we talked about. And so, and if you go to the next day, then it's pretty much the same, but there is a couple of extra parts. It's got here, this person made me happy, and then it's got a blank, and you put somebody who especially made you happy that day, and then it says, Jesus, please bless him or her. Angelo, any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I really like that one. Sometimes I write more than one person because there's quite a few people that make me happy each day. So yeah, I just write them down, and there's a little prayer down here, so by writing them down, you're praying for that person.
Yeah, good. Okay, and then we have a special place every second day where you can draw a picture of your day. There's one there and there. This is in the girls' journal. The kids, I asked them if they wanted to show any of their drawings, and they didn't. Because, you know, it can be something fun. You can do stick figures, whatever. It doesn't matter. But just something to portray your day, just a little bit of fun. Any thoughts on that, Jim?
It does, like I said before, with the drawing the things thankful, it does bring positive thoughts into your mind. And it's just something creative and fun to do. So.
And you, Angelo?
Yeah, I really like this. I usually pick one event in the day that popped up to my mind first, like that was like the main event of the day. And sometimes I try to make it religious. Sometimes it isn't. Like one day we just decorated and did stuff like that, so I wrote a picture of us decorating, and then one day my best picture is I was sick in my bed all day, so I wrote me in my bed sick and everyone praying the rosary. That was pretty awesome.
Oh, good. That's great. So in general, Gemma, any other thoughts about the journal?
Like, things happen. I'll have to go and babysit for my sister all day, you know, and I don't do it. Or on the weekends, things get really busy. A lot of time to skip it. If you do skip days, that's fine.
Yeah, so, and that's why I did a 30-day journal, and I didn't want to put dates in there because you can get back to it. We just went through Christmas time, lots of company, and so the kids probably weren't able to get to their journal. I'm not sure. I don't keep track because they're older. I don't keep track that close, but then you can just get right back to it and hop back on. The journal is for ages. Well, I have a granddaughter who's 5 who is doing it, but her mom is very heavily involved. And I would say, you know, if they were 7 or 8, they could do it with the help of mom, all the way up to 16. Gemma's almost 16, and maybe even older. Any thoughts, Angelo, on the journal in general?
Yeah, I really like this journal. All I can say is to persevere because I know when I started it was awesome, fun. And once you get to day 7, 8, and 9, it starts to get boring. You want to put it off. It starts dragging out. So it's hard to stick to it. I have a club that I'm doing this journal, or I'm going to do this journal with. And I have the boys set up so that they'll be asking each other what they finished and how many points they got, because I'm going to put, they'll get points for each thing they do. And so there'll be with someone accounting for everything they do, so it'll kind of, once they get to that certain point, they have to stick to it. There's someone watching you. So yeah, I just think it's good to persevere, and if you can, get another person to do it with you, and you can have someone keeping track of everything you're doing.
Holding you accountable
Yeah.
for it, yeah. And then, Gemma, you had mentioned something about the pretty pictures that you liked.
So I think it's really fun for young girls, the journal, just because it is the way mom has put the pretty pictures in, a different picture for each day, and the colorful pages, different colors. And then the quote in it is always super helpful, especially for me, the ones from
the Young Girls Guide.
Yeah, the Catholic
Father
Lassant's quotes are just really amazing for me.
And then this is the boys, and the boys has a lot of very nice things in it, just more boyish. There's St. Dominic, and there's Angelo getting holy water.
Uh-huh.
And then, so it also is very, very colorful. So it'll keep them, keep their attention. But like Angelo said, the novelty wears off, and then you got to push, right? So.
Well, and once you do, finish, a girl finishes the 30-day journal, you can make it become kind of a habit to where you don't have to start another journal. You can if you want, but you can do your own. You can, like Mom does. She has.
Right. Here's my journal, and it's a blank one, and I put in my own things, and actually by doing this for years is where I got the idea to do my journals. Go ahead.
This is a good way to build the habit, to start the habit
Right.
with young girls for 30 days, because once you finish, it can become a habit, and a very good habit to do, and then you can just do it on your own.
Right.
Yeah. And also, I figured out that with spiritual things, it always starts out really well, then you have like a drag out time, and it takes quite a while that you have to push through, but once you push through that hard time, it becomes a really, really good habit. I know I did Exodus 90 last year. It's like a format thing for Lent, 90 days worth, and it's really hard. I did it with a lot of the guys in the parish, and we read a lot about why it was 90 days, and it actually takes your brain 90 days to make a new habit and to form that in your mind.
Yeah, great. That's great, Ange. So the daily habits, most of us don't belong to a community or a monastery, so we have to find ways that we can build these habits, these good habits that will take us, from the spiritual point that we are right now, and keep us growing and going up the ladder, because remember, when we're not moving up, we're going to start falling back. So, and by creating a rule of life, we are intentional then in our daily walk. So these journals may be able to help you. They're available once again on my Meadows of Grace shop, which is www.meadowsofgrace.com, or on Amazon. So thank you very much for tuning in. We appreciate you, and God bless you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us today. Please stop by the Finer Femininity website to enjoy articles on the single life, the married life, raising children, and the spiritual life, all written by solid Catholic authors. You can follow Finer Femininity on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. God bless you, and see you next episode.